how to build a personal brand and make money. Now, not everybody wants to make a personal brand, but I think it is the best way for anyone out there to truly become successful and rich. What is the most amount of income potential for you that causes the least brain damage, right? Because there's a lot of ways to make money out there. You can beat your head against the wall in the corporate world, working 80 hours a week, and then retire when you're 65 and then die, right? Like, there's lots of things you can do, but what's something that you can make you a lot of money, but it can also basically not cause you a ton of brain damage? What can create a lot of money for you or income is by creating a monopoly. And this is actually kind of interesting. I was doing some research on the Rockefeller. So the main guy, the main Rockefeller, he basically created a monopoly on the oil industry back in like I don't know, I think it was the early either 1900s or something along those lines. He owned all the rights to all the oil in the country, right? Literally owned all the oil in the country. And if anybody tried to step up to him, he would basically put them out of business, right? So he literally created multiple trusts and owned all the oil production in the United States. And they created a law basically saying you are not allowed to do this. This goes against the law. You can't own all of the oil industry and make all the money. Right. So they created a law that you cannot create a monopoly, but creating a monopoly is the easiest way to make a lot of money. So what is the only legal way that you can create a monopoly nowadays? The answer is create your personal brand. There's only one you that can basically be your personal brand, right? So we're going to kind of go over a lot of stuff, planning your personal brand, setting up your personal brand, how to monetize your personal brand, because there's a lot of people that can get a lot of attention, but they don't know how to monetize it. And how to create an attention system, and then how to scale like crazy. So this is going to be, I don't know, there's going to be a lot of value in this. If you want to create a personal brand, or you want to learn how to make money, this is going to be the one that you need to basically watch. You need to learn. This is going to be a game changer. So, and then also you'll learn something a lot about at the end, how to make money and how to create content and how to create a content system. So the first things that you need to know about your personal brand and creating a personal brand is you want to define your personal brand. You want to develop your personal brand, and then you want to display it. So this is kind of going deep and thinking bigger picture, because it's not just about jumping on a camera and yapping a bunch. It's about really making a bunch of content for your ideal customer. You really have to know who your target market is, and you don't want to try and appeal to the masses. You don't want to try and help everybody. You want to start with your niche, and you want to dominate your niche, and you want to become a leader in your industry. So who is your ideal customers? That's what you need to think about. And what is it that you want to be known for? This is a big question. What is your legacy going to be? What is it that when people think of you, what comes to their mind? What do you want to be known for? And then what is your message? All right. Creating your message is very important. And later on, we'll basically call it your sexy storyline, but you need to have a good story, and you want to define how you want to be perceived in the marketplace. Right? And as I went through this whole thing, I need to work on all this stuff, but it's just an interesting way to build a character, right? Build a character that your personal brand is going to represent and what it's going to be. So first we got to develop it, right? Well, this is all basically how you define who you are and who your brand is. So you really want to have like it nailed down to exactly what your customer avatar is, who they are, what they do, and why they should listen to you, right? Next, you want to develop it. So why are you doing what you're doing, right? You want to basically tell people more about you. You want them to buy into to your story, to your personal brand, to relate to you, to connect with you. What life experiences have led you to be who you are and to be what you're doing? Right. This is a big one. What skills do you have in that industry? Like, this is like credibility you're building right here. And then what image do you want to present? You want to be basically a chill, relaxed person, or do you want to be a super serious business owner? Do you want to be, whenever people think of real estate, do they want you to come up to mind? And then you want to develop your story, right? You want to really like dive into where you came from, how you got here, and what's going on. You want to make your bio. So this is kind of like where you get to gloat and talk about how cool you are. And then you want to have a logo that represents you, and you want to do photo shoots and do everything you can to capture what your ideal brand is and develop it. And you're not going to know this right away. I wish like picking your niche was like a 30-minute conversation, but it's not. It's a very long period of time. But then the more focused you can be, the more you can develop it, the better your personal brand is going to be, the easier it's going to be to stand out. Next, you want to make sure your brand is displayed correctly and consistently everywhere, right? This is something I want to work on for sure. Because like you want to, once you do all this work of figuring out what's your message, who your ideal client is, now you want to basically display that message everywhere. And the big thing that a lot of personal brands do is they don't repeat themselves. They go off in all these different directions, but without repetition, there is no recognition, right? So you want to basically make sure, like, what do you want to repeat? What can you tell over and over and over? What's your story? What's your niche? All right. And then the message, the look and feel wants to be consistent on all platforms. Okay. There are 3 benefits to your personal brand. Okay. The benefits for a personal brand is for growth, is establishing your expertise and credibility, building trust with your audience and clients, creating a unique identity that stands out in a crowded marketplace, expanding your network and opportunity, improving your career prospects, and earning potential. So the real reason, like, I started wanting to basically teach you guys more about creating your personal brand is because, number one, AI is never going to be able to take away your personal brand. Number two, if you have the funding and you create a personal brand, what's awesome is if you already have a business, people, instead of you constantly going out and hunting for prospects are going to start to find you and come to you so that you can scale your business, so that you can grow, so that you can have more influence. And the big reason that I'm doing this is I believe the next billionaires that are going to come out are going to all have a personal brand, right? The billionaires up until now have had pretty much business success, investments, but the new wave of billionaires and people that are going to be able to get ahead is basically they're going to have a personal brand. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, so on and so forth. I have a list that's coming up. They all have a personal brand, and they all have worked really hard to create that personal brand and then create the narrative. Okay, with a strong personal brand, you can establish trust, credibility with your audience, become a thought leader in your field, and open up new opportunities for your business, career, and growth. All right, so start investing in your personal brand and reap the benefits. Visibility, career advancement, networking opportunities, authority and credibility, a differentiation, monetization, adaptability, personal development, global reach, legacy building, right? These are all why you should be really building a personal brand. And I've had a lot of people in the past say, oh, I'm shy, I don't really want to be on a camera, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's cool. You can be right or you can be rich, right? You choose. It's your choice. Here's a list of basically individuals that have a significant personal brand so that you can start to understand what a personal brand. Oprah Winfrey, personal brand. Elon Musk, Gary Vaynerchuk, Beyonce, Richard Brunson, Michelle Obama, Tony Robbins, Kim Kardashian, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Tim Ferriss, Serena Williams, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. These are all massive, massive, massive personal brands. And I'm not saying you have to have a personal brand like these people, but it's important that you can start to create your message and create who you are. So these are the 4 things that you basically really need to do to master your personal brand. You need to pick a niche, right? You can't help everyone. You don't want to talk to everyone. You don't want to do everything for everyone. And then your niche has to have a theme, right? It has to have a theme. And then you have to have a sexy storyline, because nowadays only sexy sells, right? There's nobody's buying garbage anymore. They only want the best, the most interesting, the best storyline possible. And then finally, it's just going to be frequency, amplifying this message. And this is how you get to the money. So it goes first, you got to pick a niche, right? And this is not like a one-day conversation. This is like what am I going to do for the rest of my life? What niche am I going to dominate? What is uniquely cool about me? What is the theme of that niche now? You can't just pick a broad niche. You have to pick a theme of what that niche is going to be. You have to create the sexy storyline. And if you get really good at telling your sexy storyline or whatever, your storyline over and over and over, what's the story behind your brand? Why are people going to attach to it? And then you want to amplify the frequency of people hearing your story, understanding your niche, and getting out there and why it's so valuable. You want to become a subject matter expert. Once you pick your niche, you want to know everything about your niche better than anybody else. And this is going to basically come down to doing keyword research, creating your content plan, create your call to action and monetization plan, record a shitload of content, edit, publish, repurpose the content, and then track what's working. That's the biggest thing, is publish, and then figure out what resonates the best, how to stand out more in the field, and what's actually getting you results, right? That's kind of what you want at the end of the day. So the main channels that we're going to be talking about is going to be basically Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, an email list, and a website, right? This is going to be where you're going to build your personal brand. This is where you're going to think about it. These are just a couple ways that you can create content and how you can stand out in your niche. You can create long form videos that can turn into long form podcasts. They can turn into short video clips. They can turn into video transcripts. They can turn into blogs, tweets, posts. You can do SEO, which is where people will find you on Google. I'll show you guys how to do this in a minute. You can go on other people's platforms. This is a great way to blow up, or you can have other people come onto your platforms. You can become an author. You can go to live events. You can do kind of public speaking, or virtual events are really big right now. You can build a really big email list. You can build a big forum or a group, or you can just have a regular audio podcast. Those are 2 ways that you can scale. But you got to think about it before you're going to go all buck wild. Like, you have to basically plan your attack, right? So you have to plan, what is it that you're trying to grow? Who is it you're trying to represent? What is your niche? What is your story? What is the theme? And then now it's time to basically amplify those up, right? So what platforms, though, are your ideal clients on? Are they, a lot of the times when I do consulting, it's like people think, oh, I shouldn't be on TikTok, but I think you should be on TikTok. You should be where the youngest people are, because they're going to be your customers down the road as well. Plus, they're a lot easier to share a good message with if it's in your niche. But maybe that's not you. Maybe you're just working on business development, right? Or you're trying to just contact high-level business people. So then you want to just focus your energy on LinkedIn as opposed to TikTok. But you have to think about, what platform is your ideal client on? What platform are they right now on? And then what way do they consume their information? Do business owners stay up at night reading blogs? Do they watch short little clips? What is it that they actually do? So you got to think about, take yourself out of your perspective and put yourself in the perspective of your ideal client, and how would you get their attention? Would it be short form content that goes into long form podcasts and videos? Is it going to be short form posts that go into long form blog posts, right? These are all things you should think about, and at least make up a story about who your ideal avatar is. Now you're going to basically figure out what kind of content you prefer. And it comes down to a combo of things also. It's like, what is your ideal client? How do they consume their information? But then what are you better at? Not everybody is going to be amazing on camera, right? Malcolm Gladwell, he's an amazing author, but he's not the best speaker or being on camera, right? So you need to figure out what you're good at and what your median is. And maybe you're not the best at starting the conversation, but you're the best at interviewing people, right? These are all things that you can kind of figure out, where's your zone of genius? How can you do this the best? Next, you're going to want to do copywriting for your brand. And this is kind of goes back to, what's your story? What is the reason people should listen to you? So on and so forth. And then what thumbnails work the best? We're going to go into how to actually do research in your niche, but these are just kind of go over. What problems do you solve, and what problems do your ideal audience have? I mean, most of the time people are going to be searching for you because they have a problem they want to solve, or they want to learn something, or they want to dive into your content. What content does your ideal client like the most? Create a content plan, create the hooks, create the value, create the call to actions. Again, though, this goes back to your personal brand. It's going to say, stop being shy. You got to get loud. You have to create a character for your personal brand, someone that people can relate to. And you don't, because like, if you just follow yourself around with a camera, it's not the most interesting thing. But if you have a character that you basically can have follow you around, and you project this character, then you can zone in on its basically good qualities that are interesting. Like maybe you show them, you wake up at 5, you basically brush your teeth, you do your journaling, you get ready for the day, and like you emphasize the hustle side, or you emphasize the family man, or you emphasize the hardworking entrepreneur, or the money making side. So you want to create the character and the part of your story that's going to have this character. Okay. You want to write out your personal brand statement. This is going to be what your personal brand stands for. What is it trying to do out here? Think about it as a brand. There's brands, and brands are basically taking up space in your client's mind, right? Whenever you think about your ideal client, if you had to take up a little piece of space inside of their mind, what space would you take up, right? An example is like Coca-Cola. That's everybody. It takes up a chunk in your mind as a soda company, right? That's what they do. And basically, like, it goes on and on and on like that. Like you want to take up what part of your ideal client's mind you want to take up with your brand as what you do. And you want it to be super simple. What that is, you want to make it as consistent as possible. And you want to also just make consistent content in that niche so that people, whenever they think of you, they think of that niche, they think of that thing, so that they can easily place you with that. Then you want to automate your personal brand. We're going to talk a lot about how to automate this and how to scale your personal brand and how to go wild. We're going to talk about how to monetize effectively, because you want to make sure you are making the most money possible out of your personal brand. Because again, the best way to make money, like there's a lot of ways to make money, but the best way to make money is just by being yourself, right? But in order for you to just be yourself and have a personal brand, you have to monetize correctly, and you have to monetize effectively. All right. And then you have to be on multiple platforms. You can probably start on just whatever platform your clients are on, but you want to eventually level up and be on as many platforms as possible so that you can get out there more and more and more. Okay. So these are the 4 kinds of content that you're going to want to be creating. Right. And this is very powerful. This is important for you to know. The 4 types of content, though, number 1 is going to be credibility content. Right. This is going to basically emphasize that you're an authority in your niche. It's going to show you're going to show testimonials. You're going to show you real shit that you did. This is going to be basically why people should come to you, especially in your niche, so that you can dominate it. Number 2 is going to be character content. This is just like the stuff that pisses you off, the stuff that you like just the raw character that you are. being emphasized and put out on content, right? Funny stuff, important stuff, things that make you, right? This is more about your character, and you want to like go on rants. And the whole thing about having a character is you want to attract more people like you and detract people that are not like you. People that don't think like you want to repel them, right? You want to basically have your character tell exactly who it is and what you do. Next one is you want to do connection. You want to basically be able to relate with people on where they're at in life and what they're doing. And basically the connection stuff is like very relatable, right? Like you have a family, you have to work every day, you work out, whatever it is like that you can represent that is a connective piece that will connect you to more and more people is a big deal. So whenever we were going viral, you were making $1 million with my last coaching company. Basically the thing that we were all talking about was like, look, we just all got hit by COVID. Everybody's losing their jobs. This is how you can make a lot of money wholesaling real estate, right? So you want to connect to what's happening with the times. You want to connect with what people are going through right now. And then conversion content. And this is where you make money, right? So first you want to basically build credibility. You want to make sure that they know, like, and trust you, and they like your character. You want to connect with them even on a deeper level. And then you want to ask for the sell. We're always being pitched. We're always being marketed to. Most people nowadays don't like it if you just go straight for the sale. And most people out there are just going straight for the sale because they got bills, they got shit to do. But it's better to add value than it is to basically just go for the sale. But you do have to make money doing this. This isn't a free thing. And this isn't just the narcissistic personal brand. This is how to make a personal brand and how to make a shitload of money. So you always want to have the conversion content in there as well. It's a very key important thing. This more on that is you want to have a call to action. Okay. And these are the 3 things for a call to action. Now, a call to action is at the end of your content, at the end of the video, you want to tell them what to do next. People are sheep, and a lot of times they'll just go down the rabbit hole, but then they'll also get distracted. And you basically want to be putting out this content, and you want to have a very clear call to action at the end, whether it's just to subscribe to your newsletter, whether it's to watch the next video. A lot of the times these funnels are going to be, you're putting out a shitload of short form content, and the call to action is always to go listen to the full podcast or go listen to the full video or to join your newsletter so you can get some secret sauce or to buy your product or to use your affiliate link to get going, right? But you have to make sure that it's clear, it's concise, and it's compelling. The main things when you're making content and you're going out like this is you want to have a hook that's really captivating, that catches their attention. And you want to have a clear call to action in every piece of content, right? And then in the middle, you're going to stack value. You're going to give tons of value in the middle, but this is how you can create amazing, amazing content. And the main thing is, though, a confused mind will not buy. So it has to be clear, concise, and compelling. All right. The best way to structure content for your personal brand is going to be basically first, you want to grab them and you want to write a shitload of hooks. And I also recommend whenever you're doing your research, what are other people in your niche already doing for hooks? Like they've already done this before. There's probably things that you can learn and you can just steal their hooks that are working, right? But how to structure a really good piece of content is first, you hook them in the first 5 seconds. You give them tons of value or you entertain them. You do a soft call to action, then you give them tons more value and entertain them. And then at the end of the video, you do a hard call to action. And you want to plan this out for everything. And you can even pre-record all the hooks and all of the call to actions, and then take your time giving the value and dropping through the entertainment stuff. This is the way that you can best structure your content so that you can make, the most amount of money and have the most impact with it. And then let's talk about how to monetize. The way that you truly monetize a personal brand is first, you give. You deliver so much fucking value that people end up asking you for a product or asking what else they can do to work with you. So that's the biggest thing before you go for the sale, but you do have to have a plan for how you're going to monetize. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time, right? This is going to be a business that's going to get you to the next level. That's going to get you to that ideal lifestyle. So you have to basically get paid for your work and you have to be smart about it. The main way that I would always recommend for monetizing is build a big following, build a community, build a bunch of subscribers, have a bunch of emails, whatever it is, but you have to have people that are interacting with you, following you, listening to you. So you're going to basically first, you're going to get them to know, like, and trust you by giving them tons and tons of value. The only reason anybody's going to listen to me or you or anybody is just because you are just going to give them so much value that it's worth their time to pay attention to work with you. Right. And then you're going to ask them to, hey, I also have this funding business, or hey, I also have this business. Would you like some help with this, or this? This is what I do. Personal brand. The best way to monetize it is to sell digital products or already have a business in place that you can make money, right? Already have that money making working system. You can also sell physical products. If you're an artist, if you have some sort of physical product in the real world, always make content about how you make your stuff and then basically just put that out there. People like to know how shit is made, and then they'll buy it because they were entertained and they understand how it goes. Also, print on demand or like Amazon, where basically you have the link to the physical product going to them. That's another way you can monetize. And then once you get big enough, you can really have a lot of money with just being yourself and having brands that resonate with you, right? You see all these people that are getting sponsored by all kinds of businesses, and businesses need influencers. They need personal brands because why? Because people already know, like, and trust you as the personal brand leader. So then whenever they basically want to make money, they have to find people that know, like, and trust them. So if they already know, like, and trust you, you can refer people to them and they can make money. So you want to set up a system eventually where you're always reaching out to these brands and pitching them the idea of working together to make more money. Another way that you can monetize is you can go to events. You now have a massive following. So if you go to an event, they're going to be there. People are going to show up. But also, when you go to an event, you're going to be able to make your audience even bigger because you're going to use other people's audiences to add to your value. Then monetization, I'm basically talking about like on YouTube. They basically pay out people just for making really good content and bringing people back. Google does the same thing. That's the same company. But basically Facebook tried it for a little while. TikTok tried it for a little while. But all these platforms, there's ways to basically just get paid for keep creating content, because wherever attention goes, money goes, right? Money flows. So you want to get as much attention as possible. And once you have enough attention, now you can monetize in multiple ways. But when I say monetization here, I'm talking about the Google funds, the Facebook funds, the TikTok funds, where they'll pay you for just being a creator. Another great thing is you can just sell your leads, right? You can build a massive email list and then you can sell it to other people if they want to promote stuff that's in your niche, etc. But you want to have one way that you're going to make money. I highly recommend creating a course. I highly recommend going really deep into affiliate marketing, or just maximizing your business potential, right? And I mean, if you're in real estate, create a personal brand all about real estate, and then promote your business that you're a real estate agent. You can help people buy and sell their houses. You're going to make a shitload of money. You're a contractor. Focus on just basically being that for real estate developments, like whatever it is your niche is. Make sure that you are making that part of your personal brand, so that whenever you finally do get enough attention from the right people, they know you have that business. They know that they can go and buy something from you. All right. Now we're going to basically summarize everything, but I'm going to kind of do a real deep dive here and how to really do this professionally and at scale and successfully. So the first part, though, is always just going to be do your research. So the main ways that I like to do research, let's see. So I use a plugin called Keywords Everywhere, right? So let's just look up, I don't know, funding company. So basically this Keywords Everywhere thing is going to tell me 1,900 people search up funding companies everywhere. It's going to give me all the keywords over here that people are searching: funding circle, business funding, national funding, funding circle reviews, blah, blah, blah. So this is like information that I needed to know. And then the next one that I always look up is just basically YouTube, right? So I'm just going to look up YouTube, and I'm going to really just start to research what people are searching for. Right. And I would use TubeBuddy. I really recommend them. TubeBuddy is a great way they'll just do the research for you, and they'll show you which videos are doing the best and what you should really focus on. But again, you're just going to start typing these keywords into YouTube, Google, and you're going to basically see what content is already out there. I would help if I could freaking spell in it. Company. So this is like the number one, Alex Hormozi. Number one on funding, right? This guy, he's a really cool guy. Number one on funding. But then you can also start to look at what thumbnails are really working, right? Apparently, Alex's face is big. This guy with a bank in the background. This is an ad. How to start funding. None of these thumbnails are very compelling. These aren't a very tough niche either. Here, let's just click on business credit. That's more of a thing. So then we want to see like what are the ads that people are running as well, because that means that if I grow big, I bet this guy would run ads and I could make money basically working with this guy, because he's already promoting his business. So if he wants more attention, I could reach out to him. More faces with credit cards, big numbers, face, credit cards, blah, blah, blah. But then this is like how you can start to do your research, right? And this is where you can create a SEO, basically keyword plan, right? So I can start to say, how do I make a plan for what kind of content I should create? So I'm going to go back to here and basically all these keywords that I know people are searching for. So if I can make some content for business funding for startups, I know every single month, 3,600 people are going to be searching for this. So if I can make content just about this, and I can get it on the top of Google or the top of YouTube or the top of TikTok or the top of Instagram, I know that at least 3,600 people that are looking for my offer are going to want to watch my content, right? And then I want to stack all the ones that have the most amount of videos, right? That basically business funding, like people that want to learn about business funding, I want to be in front of them because I have a funding company. So I want to create content around this, and I'm going to look at it. So make small grants. That's why I have a video already about that. I could maybe do more, but look how many people. But then again, this is a good example, guys. So you want to choose money-making keywords. Small business grants, that means that these are small businesses that want free money, right? That's not going to help me. That's not going to get anywhere. So I want to basically focus on stuff that people are going to basically work with us that are going to make us money. And this is how you kind of start to pick out words that are going to make you money and words that are going to waste your time that you shouldn't focus on. And then you want to find what are people doing in this niche that is making them stand out. So then we can go to videos, SBA loans, compelling, blah, blah, blah. So this maybe isn't the best example, but this is something you can think about. So let's just do another thing is like you want to attract the right kind of people, right? And you want to not attract the other kind of people. So I just want to show you guys what it looks like to have a really good personal brand. So you basically, when somebody searches your name, what pops up, right? So obviously this guy is a multi-billionaire. He really wants to attract businesses because he buys businesses. So he only attracts and builds goodwill with business owners so that he can basically acquire their business and scale their business. But you see his number one thing, Instagram. Number two thing, YouTube. Number three thing, his website, his business. He has a little bio over here. He has all the books that he sells right here. And he has over 135,000 people search for him every single month, right? And he attracts business owners, right? And then his post on Instagram, I think, is kind of cool. So it says, day job, invest and grow companies with acquisition.com, side hustle, make free content showing how he did it, new book, call to action. So this is literally an interesting way to introduce himself. This is the hook. The hook is he invests and grows companies. The content, he has a side hustle showing people for free how he does it. That's the value. So he's giving value. And then he has the call to action. My new book, $100 million leads, blah, blah, blah. But he's only trying to really attract business owners and stuff like that. Another one that I like to look up is Frank Kern. He's basically wants to help entrepreneurs. He's mostly down here. It's interesting, though. His website ranks first. Instagram. You can see that he's over here. You can see that he's over here. But this is what it looks like to have a good personal brand and how to develop it. And then you want to be ranking for other people like you, people in your niche, but you only want to attract people like you. So then basically, what was I doing? So this is how to do research, though. So you want to find the way that I do research is first I do the keywords. Like I showed you how to do that with the keywords everywhere. And then I basically want to make a list of all my competitors, right? So there's 0% fund to grow, blah, blah, blah. And you want to have a list of all your competitors because you want to be able to look up what kind of content they're doing. What are they doing? What are they making? Why? What is it that they are standing out? What's making them go viral so that I can add those to my keyword plan so that I can start to make content on these things, right? And you also want to make sure that you're picking niches and keyword content that's going to make you money, right? So that's kind of what I was trying to get at. But do your research. I recommend Keyword Everywhere. Mongols is a good one for keyword research. And then TubeBuddy is what I would use for YouTube and finding good content. And now, again, now that you have like a plan and you have an idea and you've done your research, now you need to make your website, right? You want to have a website. You want to be on social media. You want to have your logo. You want to have your brand story. You want to have a pitch deck. So a pitch deck is basically why people should listen to you. It's like your elevator pitch basically for podcasts and going on people's shows and working with different brands. You want to make that. You want to know what your customer avatar is, and you want to know exactly what you're going to be doing to make money. How are you going to be monetizing it? All right. Once you have that all set up, you're going to go into making a content plan. So the content plan is kind of what I showed you. I have all those keywords. I know exactly what people are searching for. I was able to go on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and kind of see what kind of content those people are making that's getting the most kind of views. Now you want to basically map them out. So you want to write them all down, and you want to create a content schedule, because having a plan requires you to put in the time to make it happen. So you want to basically, now you want to create that content schedule so that you're consistently making content every week and you just stick with it. Most of the time when I make content, I'm tired. I don't want to do it, but I still do it anyways because it's on my schedule. And I know that if I post 5 times a day on Instagram or whatever, it's going to blow up my business. So I have to stick to my schedule and you have to be disciplined about it. All right. And then you want to make a list of all the hooks that people are using people are like, have the shortest attention span ever in history, I would say right now. So in order for them to watch all of your video content, you have to really hook them in the first 5 seconds of why they should watch the rest of it. And then once you hook them in, it's a lot easier to keep them along watching your videos. So you want to have a list of all the good hooks, and then you want to make the content that goes with the hooks. Like the hook is almost more important than anything. It's like, first you have to make really good thumbnails. Then you have to have amazing hooks. Then you have to add the value. Then you have to have the call to action. And then I also recommend write out the descriptions. And the reason you would write out your descriptions beforehand is because you want to know how this video is going to basically lead to you making money or growing your brand more. So this is going to write out the descriptions for your videos, write out the call to actions. And then now you really want to find groups. So there's Facebook groups, there's Reddit groups, there's LinkedIn groups, there's little communities on forums. What's the Quora, right? There's lots of these little forums and stuff. And you want to find ones that are in your niche that already have a collection of your ideal clients and ideal avatars. And you want to make sure that you post to those places. So you want to pre-look and pre-find all these different kinds of groups so that you can basically, as soon as your content is coming out, you can put them in there and you can start to monetize and make some money. Next is you want to record the content. All right. And you don't have to overthink this. Everybody has a smartphone nowadays. If you don't have a smartphone, I'm sorry. But basically they have great cameras on them. And you're going to be able to use your phone for just about everything. People spend way too much money on stupid cameras. You don't need great cameras. You just need something that's going to record in high definition. That's easy to work with what you have. But I really recommend just get an iPhone and get an iPad. Get a Rode mic. So a Rode mic is just like a little tiny microphone you can clip onto your neck, and it sounds great. Perfect. It's amazing. For basically computer recording, like what we're doing right now, I use this Shure 7 USB mic. Works wonderful. I bought this when it first came out. I'm probably going to buy another one for Christmas right now. We use Zoom to record all this stuff. We're on Zoom right now. I like Screencast-O-Matic for when I'm not using Zoom and I just want to record my computer. Lights is actually a really big deal. Have lights. Lighting can really boost the quality of your videos. Create a cool background. I've had multiple backgrounds. I think it's kind of fun. Go cool places. Just go out to your local city statues, go to events, go to churches, go to concerts, go to stuff that's cool, that is interesting, and make content there. Also, we use StreamYard to live stream on all platforms. Going live is a great way to boost your business and boost your brand, essentially. Now you need to record, and then you need to edit. Once you've made a shitload of content, you've put a lot of time in, you've recorded it, now it's time to edit. So the way that I edit nowadays is I use this app on my iPad called LumaFusion for editing. It is the freaking best software ever because I literally just record on my phone, airdrop it to my iPad, and I can edit right away. And it's just super easy. Definitely recommend that setup. Everybody else, you can use whatever you want. I think it's like Adobe Premiere is what most people use. I hate Adobe. I don't think it works very well. But I like my setup with LumaFusion, and I would recommend everybody does. The app is like $9 a month. Super easy to edit. Super easy to basically make things happen. I use story blocks for B-roll footage. So if you guys have seen my ads, I'm sure you guys have. It has a lot of moving parts and really crisp videos. I just take those off of story blocks. Basically, I write out the script, I record it, and then I just cover up my face and I put the story blocks over, and it makes all of these videos pop. It makes people pay attention. Again, like we have the least amount of attention span in the whole freaking world right now. And in order to keep people entertained, you have to constantly be moving, right? A lot of the times you want to script out a video. You want to record the first part in one location, record the second part in another location, record the third part in another location, or be walking or be somewhere cool, or be using story blocks to put the B-roll footage over the videos to make it so it's doing the same thing so that it's not just the same stagnant video. And then I use a software called Canva for thumbnails and graphics. All right, this is what I do for YouTube thumbnails, Instagram thumbnails, everything basically. And now you need to repurpose your content. So here's the big thing that I went pretty heavy on it and has got me a lot of great results is I make long form contents like this. I turn the audio of these long form videos into podcasts. I turn the podcast audio into blog posts. I turn the blog post into small clips for Instagram with audio. And then I also make Canva, right? And this is called repurposing. I also take the long form videos and I turn them into short form clips for TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest. So I know that's a shitload, but you can basically get a virtual assistant at some point once you know how to do this all for you. But this is how you can create a shitload of content. So you make one 1 hour video and it turns into like 27 different pieces of content that can now go out there and build your brand and get people's attention so that they can start to pay more attention to you so you can turn that into some money and you can build your brand. This is very, very cool stuff. But repurposing is big. I try and do it as much as I can. It's a lot of freaking work. And then this goes back to the SEO, right? So you go to thelionshow.com. So basically you have the video, you have the podcast, and you have the blogs with the call to actions here, right? So this is basically how I did it, though. I basically just put this all into ChatGPT. It's on my website. And now I rank for how to become a millionaire, which is pretty wild, right? And then if I really want to boost this up, I would buy some press releases. But then I have lots of traffic that comes to my website for free because they're searching for stuff like this. And then I show them my basically my videos. They can watch, they can listen on the podcast, so on and so forth. But this is how you can really start to crank it up. And it's just good to be aggressively always building your email list, always working on your website, always working on your social media presence. Repurposing though, makes it a great way to have one piece of really solid content turn into 25, 50 different pieces of content and blow it up everywhere. Now it's time to publish your content. So for publishing, I like to use Buffer. You can also just use the Facebook app and the YouTube app, and you can schedule the posts. Buffer is really good. Libsyn is what I use for my podcast. I really like Libsyn. The main reason I like Libsyn is because as soon as I make one of these videos and I turn it into an audio form, I just upload it into Libsyn. This is where I house my podcast, and it goes out to all these different podcast channels. So it goes on Amazon, it goes on Google, it goes on Blogger, it goes on whatever the hell these are that I've never heard of. It goes on iHeartRadio, Samsung, Tumblr, WordPress, Twitter, right? So this is called syndication. So I make one audio clip, one audio podcast, and it gets syndicated to over a few different platforms, all with my links, all pointing back to my business, all growing my brand. So then you just have to make really good content and you just keep pumping out the audio. And this worked really well, and it still works really well. And I'm going to keep growing it. And then obviously the videos go on YouTube, the videos go on LinkedIn, the videos go on Facebook, right? So you can basically go everywhere, pick where you think it's going to have the most effect. And then eventually you can have a virtual assistant for mass publishing. And that's just basically all they do all day is they publish for you on these different platforms. And that's kind of an art to publishing because you also have to reply to people. It's a pain in the ass, but you can do it all by yourself in the beginning. But I like syndicating. I like Libsyn for the audio. I like Buffer for the short form content. And then I just manually post stuff to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube so that it's like the long form content. And then you want to track your content. You want to know what pieces of content is actually driving traffic to your brand so that you can really start to make winning content, right? It's not just all about making a ridiculous amount. It's about figuring out what is the best content you can make and then making it better and better and better and better so that you can grow your brand and you can grow. All right. The next levels of this whole thing is you're going to basically become a master in your subject, more a leader in your subject. All right, you want to hire a video editor so that they can edit all your content for you. You want to hire a publisher like we were talking about. You want to hire somebody who's going to publish all of your content for you so that you're not doing this all the time, so that you just focus on making the content, handing it off to the video editor. The video editor edits it, the publisher publishes it, and now you have a sick attention system, right? My new goal from this is I want to make 50 pieces of content a week. And I know if I do that, that's 200 pieces of content a month. And I'm going to basically track every single one of these pieces of content. And I'm going to see how many videos do I need to put out to get people to click the link in my bio, to get people to watch the videos for my business, and to get people to pay money to work with me, right? This is all a massive system of attention, and it's a lot cheaper than running Facebook ads. But if you add just a little bit of ads to this, it can just be boom, massive fire, massive amounts of attention, tons of buzz, tons of business, tons of money, right? And then you also want to hire a brand representative once you get big enough. And this brand representative is just going to reach out to other creators or other brands and look for ways for your business to grow and build with people that are in your niche, right? And I'll show you a cool way I'll just do that right now. So podmatch.com is basically for podcast hosts, for podcast guests, and for both, right? And basically what you do is you just sign up here. So like if you ever wanted to, let's say you figured out what your brand is going to be, but you're not the best tech savvy, you're not the best at putting all this crazy content, you could just go on other people's podcasts, right? And have your story dialed in. That's the main thing. It's let's say you have a amazing story that you want to share with the world. You have your hook that gets people interested in your story. You have the value that is your story. And then you have your call to action, which is going to be, hey, go sign up, book a call with me or whatever it is going to be. Go to my website, whatever you can do to monetize it. And then you just go on a podcast tour is what I call it, where you just go on hundreds of people's podcasts and you say the same story over and over and over. Obviously, there's lots of freestyling. There's lots of just having regular ass conversations. But at the end of the day, the more dialed in that you can be with this, the more money you're going to make. And this literally doesn't cost you shit. This is just you go on other people's podcasts. They interview you. You are the authority. You walk them through the hook, the value, the call to action, and now you're scaling your brand using other people's audiences. That's a super powerful way for people to scale their brand. And then you basically would hire somebody to make your pitch deck and reach out to these podcasts, because eventually you're going to get good at it. You're going to know what podcasts are a waste of time, what are some really, really awesome podcasts that you want to get on, and you want to target those kind of people. And then you're also going to target brands that are in line with your niche, and you can basically start to make a lot of money doing this. So this is the summary. Always be working on your brand to improve your message. Always be publishing. Always be publishing. Always be publishing. Always be reaching out to brands and other influencers. Always be improving your money system. Always be improving your attention system. And you are going to be able to take over any niche, anything out there, and make a shitload of money with your personal brand. All right. So I know I got kind of fired up there, but I like it. I think it's pretty cool. If you guys want to make money as a personal brand, you got to put out a shitload of content. You got to get wild with it. I hope that was helpful. I hope you guys learned something